In this video, we will be discussing the various methods used by fungi to reproduce. Fungi reproduce both sexually and asexually. First, we will cover asexual reproduction methods that fungi use to reproduce. The principal structure of asexual reproduction is a fruiting body. This structure usually contains thousands of spores, all resulting from meiotic divisions of a single cell and therefore are genetically identical. In some fungi, for example rhizopus or bread mould, the spores develop in a structure called sporangium. The spores are called sporangiospores. In other fungi, the spores develop on supportive structures called kinidiophores, and the spores are called conidia, from the Greek kinidios, meaning dust. An example of a fungi that uses this method is penicillium. Some methods of reproduction do not involve a fruiting body. For example, spores may form by fragmentation of the hypha. This process yields what are known as athrospores, which comes from the Greek stem athro, which means joint. An example of this is Taeniopedis, which is the fungi that causes athlete foot. The last form of asexual reproduction is budding. In this case, the cell becomes swollen at one edge, and a new cell called a blastospore, or a bud, develops from the parent cell and breaks free. Yeast is a type of fungi that uses this method. Fungi also produce spores by a sexual process. Cells of two opposite mating types come together and fuse. A fusion of the nuclei follows, resulting in a mixing of chromosomes and a temporary diploid condition occurs. Eventually, the chromosome number is halved and the cell returns to its haploid state. Variations in the methods of sexual reproduction are used in the classification of fungi. The fungi are classified into groups based mainly on the type of sexual spore that they produce. In yeast, asexual and sexual reproduction alternate. In sexual reproduction, haploid cells fuse to form a zygote. In zygomycetes, which are terrestrial fungi with aseptic hyphae, mating of hyphae results in the formation of zygospores. Ascomycetes. This includes the unicellular yeasts, powdery mildews, cottony moulds and cup fungi. All ascomycetes form a reproductive structure called an ascus during sexual reproduction. An ascus is a sac which holds up to 8 haploid ascospores. Most ascomycetes reproduce asexually by means of conidia. Basidiomycetes or club fungi includes the commas mushroom, which has been shown to you now. The name basidiomycete refers to the reproductive structure on which sexual spores are produced. The structure resembling a club is called a basidium, and the spores are called basidiospores. In this method, the mycelium forms below the ground, and after a sexual fusion, the hyphae force themselves up to the surface and grow into a mushroom cup. Basidia develop on the underside of the cap, along the gills, and each basidium may have up to 8 basidiospores contained within it. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you found this at least partially helpful and a little bit interesting. If you have any questions, just direct them to any other member of my team and not me. Thanks.